2022, new year, new me, or some shit like that. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Savvy Squaddie. In this video I'm going over what you can do to help make 2022 a better year for you financially. Remember, personal finance is just that, it's personal, so take away what you want from this video and apply it to your life in the best way that works for you. To begin with, one thing you can do is to set some financial goals for the year. This could be anything from saving a certain amount for a deposit on a house, overpaying a car loan or a mortgage, paying off any consumer debt, starting an emergency and/or sink fund, or even beginning to invest. Setting these goals gives you something to work towards and gives you more meaning as to why and how you allocate your income. By not having something to work towards, you're more likely to end up spending more than you should, or worse, spend more than you actually have. Another thing you can do this year which will help you financially and also help to achieve any goals you've set is creating a budget and tracking your expenses. Being able to see your income and expenses and consciously allocating an amount to your outgoings will help you make and achieve your financial goals. A starting point when it comes to budgeting is the 50-30-20 budgeting method. Essentially, 50% of your income goes towards your needs, such as rent, bills and food. 30% goes towards your wants like Netflix, eating out and other discretionary spending, and the final 20% goes towards saving, investing and paying off debt. Divide your monthly income into these ratios and see how much you have to work with. Then figure out all of your needs and how much they come to. If it comes to less than 50%, then ask yourself what will you do with the remainder of that allocated money. However, if it comes to more, then decide whether you will draw money from your 30% for the wants or the 20% for the savings, investing and debt repayment. Once you've sorted that, move on to the 30% allocation for your wants. How much money is that per month that you can spend on your discretionary items? And is it enough? If it isn't, then what can you do to change that? Take it from the remaining 20%, or perhaps cut back on your discretionary spending. Before even considering taking it from the 20%, I would scrutinise your discretionary spending. Ask yourself, do I really need Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Sky TV when I mostly watch Netflix? Do I really need to be eating out twice a week? Do I really need that new pair of shoes, etc.? If both your needs and your wants come to 100% or more of your income, then that is a problem. You are leaving no room for any financial goals and potentially digging yourself into a hole of debt. You are not living within your means. It's easier to decrease your expenses than it is to increase your income. So if you happen to be in this situation, seriously take a look at your discretionary spending and cut out all the shit you don't actually need. Budgeting and tracking your expenses makes this easier as you can see it all there in front of you. With the 20% allocation for saving, investing and debt repayment, it's up to you where you want to stick the money left over, and this might depend on your financial goals that you have set. Perhaps you want to be debt free by the end of the year. You then might decide to put 15% towards all your debt and the remaining 5% into an emergency fund. It really is personal to you. By all means use these ratios as a guide, but they don't have to stay exactly like that. It could be 50, 25, 25 for you. For me it's 30, 30, 40. So 30% on needs, 30% on wants, and I save and invest the remaining 40%. The split of the ratios is completely dependent on your personal situation. Budgeting is not about living a frugal or minimalistic life. It is purely about helping you live within your means and holding you accountable. It helps prevent you from spending money you don't have and sheds light on bad spending habits that you might have and not even realise. I've tracked my expenses for the last year and a half, and it's been eye-opening to see how much I actually spend on certain things, especially over a year period, and it has helped me stay on track to meet my financial goals for the year. I can see from my spreadsheet that in 2021 I spent nearly £700 on takeaway and eating out, and nearly £2,500 on the food shop. Whilst I am happy with these numbers, it's eye-opening to see how much it all really does come to at the end of the year. When I first started tracking my expenses, I managed to save money as it highlighted things that I was paying for that I wasn't using anymore or rarely used and wasn't worth it. If you track your expenses, then scrutinise them and see what you're paying for that you actually don't need to, and then cut it out. There are loads of different ways to budget and track your income and expenses. You can use pre-made spreadsheets or make your own, and there are apps out there which can do it too. I personally prefer inputting the data into my own spreadsheet. I find updating my spreadsheet every couple of days oddly therapeutic, and it also makes me feel more accountable for my spending when I am the one inputting the data and not an app that does it automatically by tracking my bank transactions. Now, my spreadsheet may not work for everyone, but it works for me, which is what matters, so do what works for you. Whether that be using an app or even writing it all down, but the important thing is to start doing it. Start now, and at the end of the year, you'll be amazed by the numbers. One of the biggest things that helps me with all this is paying myself and all of my bills on the 1st of each month. Then the money I have left over is what I have for discretionary spending and the food shop, but I've already budgeted for that. I know that no other bills or anything like that should be coming out later in the month, which relieves a lot of the unnecessary worry and stress as to whether or not I will be able to pay my bills, as they've already been paid. And I've also paid myself by putting money straight into my savings and investments at the start of the month. If I get to the end of the month and I have money left over, then I normally stick that into my sink fund, but you could use it to overpay on a loan or something like that. If you have consumer debt, then perhaps 2022 can be the year that you focus on paying off a lot of it, if not all of it. I personally would prioritise more money towards this than saving. This is because in the long run you will probably end up paying more towards interest on your loans than you would gain from a savings account. Also, having your loans paid off will have more of a positive psychological impact on your life. In the Debt and Loans for Squaddies video, I go over in a lot more detail everything you need to know about debt and the different strategies to repaying loans. There's a link below to that video and I highly recommend watching it. The average credit card debt per household in the UK in October 2021 was just over £2,000. That's more than a lot of us take home in monthly pay. People clearly are not living within their means, but also are not prepared for emergencies and surprise expenses that occur and then have to go into debt to pay for it. Another step to help you improve your financial situation this year and also prepare you for those surprise expenses is by starting to pay into an emergency and/or a sink fund. These are both separate savings accounts, but with different tasks. An emergency fund is for emergencies and should contain around 6 months' living expenses. This is for if you lost your job, etc. You then have a fund to keep you and your family going during that emergency until it's all sorted. A sink fund is a savings account dedicated to paying off big expenses in a winter. Such expenses could be things like car insurance, council tax, car service, utility bills, etc. This takes away the need for monthly payments, going into debt to pay the bills, and will save you money as most things are cheaper when paid outright. It may seem like a bigger payment up front, but over the longer term you will save money. Nearly 41% of Brits do not have enough savings to even live for 1 month without an income, and a third of Brits have less than £600 in savings. If an unexpected expense comes up, then these people are f***ed and will have to use debt to pay for it, and then it gets even harder to save up for the next unexpected expenditure, and so the vicious cycle continues. Don't be one of these people. Start paying into these funds, even if it's 50 quid a month. Something is better than nothing, and it will help lower the blow when something does happen. Starting to invest will make 2022 and beyond a lot better for you financially. Whilst it is important to have an emergency and a sink fund, you don't really want any extra spare money lying around in a savings account, as it will lose value because inflation is higher than most savings account interest rates, and you will get a better return for your money by investing it. I've already made videos about investing and the different types of funds out there which help explain it all for you. There are links below to these videos. Give them a watch as I'm not going into detail about investing in this video. Consistently investing every month of your career can see you reap the huge benefits when it comes to retiring, and can act as another form of income as well as your pension. Watch my video, Achieving Financial Freedom Using a Military Career, to see an example in action on how you can retire forever after you leave the forces, and all by investing monthly into index funds. Also, if you want to understand your armed forces pension, then check out the video I have done on that and see how you can work out how much you might be entitled to depending on how long you serve when you retire. 2022 is just beginning, and for many of you it could be a chance to start taking control of your finances and starting your journey to a much more stress-free life. Personal finance is not a taboo subject and needs to be talked about. I hope this video has helped and given you some ideas as to how to make 2022 a great year for you financially. Let me know in the comments below what your financial goals are for the year, and come back at the end of the year and let us know how you did. Thank you all for watching. If you liked what you just saw, please hit the subscribe button up there, and if you want to see some more videos, click over there. See you soon.